Welcome everybody to another episode of Mic'd Up. This is Kevan from Third Pedal Media. Today, we having something different. We're changing up the spice a little bit. Previously, we've just been doing a lot of JDM cars, you know, a lot of boosted, a lot of toot. Today's spice, something really nice, is an Audi R8. It's the first exotic car we're gonna have on the channel. We've had many a JDM exotic, if you want to call it that, on the channel, but it's the first exotic car. It's on a different level. Why, you say? Because of that, I say. I can't see what I'm pointing at. The sun's literally right there. But that's that. It's a twin turbo setup from Boost Logic. A little sneak peek of it. Little sneak peek of that. So thanks again. 2022 was an awesome year, and we're starting 2023 with something totally awesome, something sweet. I'm really excited to see how this thing's gonna sound. So let me go ahead and shut up. Let's get the interview rolling, then we get mic'd up, and then we'll see how this bad boy sounds. Hey Hal, man, thanks for coming back to the channel, dude. We really appreciated the S2000 video, and now another black beauty you have. What is it?
It is a 2017 Audi R8.
It's clean. That paint's clean, man. I hate black. Is it paint in the butt? Oh,
man. Black is just, it's tough, man.
Jeez.
All of our vehicles are black except for one.
Now, is all the wing and the carbon inside, those factory or some of those add-on?
Those are all aftermarket. Vorsteiner front, Vorsteiner wing, carbon fiber side skirts, and then the bumper's off, but I do have a Vorsteiner rear diffuser as well, but it's off the car right now.
That's clean. That's clean. What suspension? What's it riding on?
Factory suspension, other than H&R lowering springs. Fairly good suspension from the factory, so no need to.
Good ride, good handling.
Ride's great, handles great.
Oh, that's cool. What the wheel and tires? Is the factory brakes?
So these are factory brakes. This is non-performance, so it is their factory steel brakes, drilled rotors, and then the wheels are just a staggered 20-inch setup from front and rear.
What brand wheels?
They're actually a special. They're called 7K wheels. Okay. They were on the car when I bought them, and I like them so much. You know, sometimes I'll change them, but I like them a lot, so no reason to change something you don't like. So
what have you done performance-wise?
Performance-wise has a Boost Logic Stage1 twin turbo setup, full titanium exhaust, which comes factory with all Boost Logic stuff, and it's an OEM reflash right now.
Oh, really? What size turbos?
They're twin GT3582Rs, Garrett.
Nice. Is it? There's not much exhaust, but it's not an open dump, but it's just right there to the tailpipes.
Yeah, so it's recirculated wastegates into the exhaust.
Yeah, it's not far to get to the exhaust tip.
No, not really.
You can say it's like open dump.
Yeah, pretty much.
So have you done anything with the interior?
Interior is completely stock.
Okay. Finally, what do you love about the car?
Well, you know, I come from a JDM standpoint, and the S2000 was a raw car. This is more refined. It's comfort. It's a fast car in relative terms. You can take it on a road trip. You don't get tired, and it's a very reliable platform.
That's sweet. It's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. Good. Yep. I went up, the RPMs went up quick.
Oh yeah.
You went up quick. All right, guys, so you heard that startup. You heard that little rev. We're all mic'd up, we're all cammed up. This is a different feeling for real.
It is, man.
I really don't think I've ever been in an exotic.
First time for everything.
Yeah. You do you, boo-boo.
So even though the car's warmed up, or it was warmed up, it's not right now. Well, I mean, you can still read in temps. It'll take a second.
I mean, by the time, too, you reach out to the main road, it should get there, right?
Yeah.
That's a miss because I put a high flow cat back in my downpipes.
Yep.
I missed the free flow burbles.
So what's interesting about this is like it's in dynamic right now, sport mode. So it'll do it, but like so if I downshift, I'll do the burbles, I'll let off, downshift again, I'll do the burbles. So I can go into comfort mode.
You said it's just a basic tune, right? No crazy tune.
Yeah, it's the twin turbo kit is just OEM reflash, but there's no burbles whatsoever. But I always just ride it dynamic. It gives it a little bit of a different feel. Suspension is now a little bit more bouncy compared to comfort.
Okay.
So
the rebound's different.
Yep. Traction control cut the power?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. I was still looking at your screen. I went straight back. Jeez.
So the one bad thing about OEM reflash is like it'll cut power unless you turn electronic stability control completely off, which is what I usually do. So now it will not cut power.
Okay.
But once you reach a certain speed, it'll turn itself back on.
I mean, sometimes some people need that. You see some of those crashes out there.
There's some people that just don't know how to drive or don't know when to let out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely not a bad thing with the R8 being all-wheel drive. It's 85.
Oh, this is all-wheel drive also?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, and that back end was kicking out so hard?
It was, but it's 85/15.
Okay.
So it can change and adapt to 70/30, but it can go 30 is the most that can go to the front. So it's still predominantly rear-wheel drive. But it's just cool to know the noises it makes just from driving around, you know. It's full ball bearing.
It's so quiet in here.
It is, man.
It's so quiet in here.
It's very quiet. Very quiet.
Like I say, it's purpose built.
Definitely is, and that's, I mean, you know, coming from when we did the video with the S2000, that's, you know, that was a raw car, loud on the inside, you know.
NVH.
And yeah, so 6-speed, you know, trans was loud, clutch was loud. This is, you know, I mean, the car drives like it's a stock car. It's, and then whenever you want the power, it's there. That's all. Doesn't stop, man.
It's like it's just going. Like even though you're down.
So you can feel it. I mean, even though you saw we got
fishtail and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah. But you can tell the difference from that pull versus the first one to where it did not cut power that time.
No.
But then it came back on, so it's back on.
Dang, that was a different feeling. Nice. What's the horsepower rating on this?
So most of your Stage 1 kits will make somewhere between 850 most of the time. This actually made 770. And part of the reason behind that is when we bought the kit, DS1 is a known tuner for Audis and several other platforms. We're going to do DS1 and do electronic boost control, so we can control the boost level through DS1.
Okay.
So DS1 is just an ECU, almost like a piggyback type thing, reprogram. Not even real piggyback, but it reprograms everything, but also gives you functionality in the steering wheel to do multi-maps, so you can have like a 700 horsepower map, 800, 900,000, if you do the fuel upgrade. So this made 770, and we actually put the lighter wastegate spring in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got a 7.25 pound spring in it, when really most of the kits, most of the kits do a 8.75 pound spring. And so really the car could have made another, it could have made like 850-ish maybe. But we decided, instead of taking the wastegates out and changing them and having, call it, 50, 80 more horsepower, whatever the case may be, we knew eventually we were going to do a retune on DS1 fuel upgrade to bigger injectors, a different fuel pump, run E85 and have multiple maps, so we can run E85, pump gas whenever we want to, and have different maps for that, be able to read E85 content on here, on the dash, and be able to change the maps with the cruise control.
But it's just the way it puts it down, like that seat of the pants feeling it was wow. It felt good.
And it's asphalt, and I always keep it on the. There's different stuff you can change on the gauges, but I always keep it on tire pressure, and temps. Like the tire temps, the highest tire temp is 78. So, I mean, the tires are still cold,
dang,
relatively. And
that's that sensor too. I see the dynamic also throws the red line to 9.
Yep,
that's
9.
Nuts.
But as far as like a comfort thing, I mean, it's really hard to beat these platforms, the R8 and Huracan platforms.
Yeah.
It's the same, the same platform. Obviously, the outside of the car is different, but motor's the same, trans is the same. Gearing's a little different than the Huracans, same platform.
I don't think if I get a exotic, it'll probably be a R8 or a Huracan. I don't think I'll be a Ferrari person.
Yeah, nothing against Ferrari. I feel the same way. It's just,
you got a Ferrari, kind of leave a Ferrari as is most of the time. I just not have your friends drive stock kind of thing. You gotta drive something you can modify.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's a very comfortable car. You can drive a long trip with it. You don't get tired. The seats are comfortable.
Yeah.
Drives like a stock car until you want to get in it, and the power's there.
I got hella brakes and hella suspension and hella grip.
Yeah,
it's definitely different.
And this is asphalt too, so like if we were in Texas or somewhere that had concrete, it's going to get better grip too, because I mean we're still spinning then. So it was probably spinning to at least the top of third gear. It felt like. So if we had concrete, it would pull even harder than it did. But even if you put it in like a third gear and just roll
into it. I mean, I can't lift my head off the headrest.
Yeah, you have to kind of
just
get your head ready, or just put your head on the headrest.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is like this is a minimal build. I mean, this is a Stage 1 kit. Call it close to 800 horsepower. Whereas we'll do a retune and do a fuel upgrade soon, within the next year or so maybe, to do a 1,000 horsepower map in DS1 and on E85. But I didn't build this car to be the fastest car by any means.
Exactly. And so I think things are shifting. A lot of people back, like let's say 5-6 years, there was like a horsepower strut, like a horsepower wars, where
Right.
people wanted to build dyno queens or huge horsepower numbers. And I think it's shifted lately. People want usable horsepower.
Yep.
And enjoyable horsepower.
I think there's tons of builds out there. They're like street R8s and Huracans. Most of them are around the 1,200, 1,500 horsepower range. Most of your Stage 2 kits are straight out the gate right at 1,200 horsepower. I think from like a street limit, like that's the most usable power, because I mean, yeah, there's plenty of other kits that are 1500, and then you get into like your 2000 horsepower builds, and I don't want to be anywhere close to the fastest. It's so I want to do this, enjoy the car, love the sounds that it makes between just the V10 platform by itself, but then twin turbo, it makes, you know, even cooler noises. And
is it the factory engine, factory block? Did you do anything? Okay.
So yeah, the engine's completely from stock. No injectors, no fuel pump, no trans work. Typically, nobody does trans work or motor work. Well, trans work, once you get to the 1200 horsepower platform, that's when you start doing some stuff with trans. You can do a billet second gear, because that's usually the number one gear that goes bad is your second gear. So you can do a full billet second gear on 1200 horsepower, you'll be fine. You know, obviously upgraded clutch at 1200 horsepower. Most people go with the Datsun, but that's really it. I mean, motor-wise, there's several people that are, you know, around 1500 horsepower, and that's when it kind of gets iffy. But most of the people are going for that 1500 horsepower. They're going to probably start breaking apart the motor, and they're probably going to get closer to 2000. And
that's the other thing. The more horsepower, the more you get chances stuff to break and everything like that. How much PSI are you pushing?
So 7.25 pounds.
Wow,
that's what
it, and it pulls that hard.
That's, yeah, on the twin GT3582Rs. So yeah, once it hits 7.25 pounds, the wastegate's open, so that's what it's at. We could be making more, but we just didn't want to break apart not really the car again. I was like, you know what, Alright, somebody looks like a pallet just decided to fall off the truck. But we could have changed the wastegate springs out to 8.75, but I was like, you know what, we're going to do a retune on DS1, just leave it like it is. And the power, it wasn't worth it to do all that work just to change the wastegates out for 50 to 80 more horsepower. Because it won't matter once we go to electronic boost control.
So the thing is, it's always addictive, and you always get no. Do you foresee building this bigger in the future, possibly?
I think the only thing that I'll do is, and I'm even on the fence about it still now, is doing that fuel upgrade and 1000 horsepower map. I do want to do the DS1 retune because it allows me to have multiple maps. And being able, if I do go to E85, I'll have to do injectors for that, but it'll allow me to read the E85 content through here. DS1, in my mind, is just a lot better than the OEM ECU reflash. And it's middle ground between Motec, which is full standalone.
Right. And with that, too, you have the stability of the car and the security, I guess you would say, of not having any issues, letting it run cooler and everything like that.
Yeah, so I'm not going to get anything crazy. Who knows? I might not ever even do the fuel upgrade. Okay. I want to, but I mean, you felt the power, and what, 200 more horsepower, is it really, you know, is it even really worth it? Because I'm not trying to build the car to be anywhere close to the fastest car. I just built it for my enjoyment. It makes cool noises. Yeah, it's a pretty quick car relative to the other builds that are out there, but I mean, nowadays it's like if you have 1000, yeah, you're pretty quick. But with everybody else that's out there, you know, I mean, 1000, you're like, okay, you can play a little bit, but that's kind of like the norm, which is crazy.
But some of those 1000 players, they can't put it down and they can't use it.
Right, you're right about that.
Yeah, this is at the 700, this is using the shit out of it. 1000, it might just be a little more hands-on.
Yeah, and it will be, and the car does a lot for you. It manages the power for you. But yeah, when you get to that 1000, I mean, having a 800 horsepower R8 is probably comparable to, you know, like 1000 horsepower or something that maybe weighs a little bit more, that doesn't have the same traction control capabilities and drivetrain and DCT. So like an 800 horsepower R8 is comparable to like maybe like S2000, for instance, that I have.
Okay.
You know, it's just a different car. It's a lot more manageable in this, and the car does everything for you. Let's see if I can wait for this car to get by. Do you feel the kit back on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt it in front.
Yeah.
It spools fast. It hits max spool quick.
And I mean, so this setup could turn into a stage 2 setup. Still the same turbos on stage 1 and stage 2. You're just running more boost on a stage 2 setup, and then you obviously have the entire fuel upgrade. then you start getting into the intake manifolds, the plenum covers, and having to change those out from the factory ones. But there's just little things you do here and there as you progress in power levels.
Okay.
But for what it's at right now, man, it's a very fun car, extremely reliable. So you see how bouncy it is now? Like on this exit, I put it in comfort. Big difference, right?
It just disappeared.
It just disappeared, but then
it totally disappeared. It's normally it's not that.
And see, now it's back in dynamic, and you can feel like the bounciness just in the dampening.
But that difference is night and F and day. It was like going between. Shit.
It's a big difference, man. So every now and then I'll put it in comfort if I'm on the interstate and like go into like an event that's like 30-40 minutes away.
Yeah.
Those little bounces back and forth. But when it wants to come on, it wants to come on.
Well, guys, that was a fun ride. That is a hell of a setup. And I hope that was a hell of a vid. Put in the comments, hit that like. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. It turned out to be a good talking head video. We had a real good discussion about the platform and other different things. Hopefully you guys didn't skip through. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Share a like. And here's the great things in 2023.